Call this meeting to order. Have the February meeting minutes. Ronnie, are there any questions or corrections? No, we need a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, seeing Warren's not here, we don't have a treasurer's report. Do we have any comments from any of you, any residents? Hearing none, we go to new business. The dock at 212 Lakeshore Drive. This is what Cole and Becky are here for. I had sent the pictures out and that, you know, when it, they're saying that our buoys damaged their dock, and from the pictures it looks like it probably was a contributing factor. And I talked with Mike Williams at Schmidt Boats, and he kind of thinks that most of the damage was done with that. He said some of it could have been the ice, but most of the damage was probably the buoy. My suggestion would be to pay for repairs, which is $1,947.75 for Schmidt Boat Lifts and Docks to fix.
Wait, what was the dollar amount again?
$1,947.75. They also had two estimates of over $4,000 for replacing. And it's up to the board here what we want to do.
Can I speak at all, or is there
Well,
anything
if they want to say something.
anything else you wanted to offer, or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I didn't see the pictures, I'm sorry. Did you send them today?
No, I just sent them to the Warren
Okay, so I didn't see, sorry.
Sure, I can,
I have pictures too I can show, but essentially, April 3rd, he just happened to be snapping a picture of our dog in our backyard, and there was no ice anywhere near our dock. Everything had been melted. You can see the buoys floating on the south end of the lake in a distance. Or northeast end. In a distance, but so we have proof that our dock was fine on April 3rd. April 4th, I came home to our dock pulled underwater. The buoys were wrapped around it, and then they floated towards our neighbor's dock and wrapped around his dock as well. They sat there. I emailed the village the next day on the 5th. Didn't hear anything back. Al came and collected the buoys that Sunday, which would have been the 7th, I believe. And then I got a follow-up email from the administration, and we've been talking back and forth with David and myself, and David got Al involved, but David commented that we should have somebody come out and investigate and, you know, make a ruling of what they thought it was. And Mark Williams had talked to me and said that, and no doubt in his mind, even based off the pictures, was it not, you know, because of the buoys.
I just, I don't want to place blame anywhere on anyone. That's not like our intention. The only thing is we were just trying to find the steps to take to go forward. And we just thought maybe that there was like a gap in time for, number one, the buoys and the collection. How it goes about and who's responsible for it, I'm not, you know, I'm not trying. And as far as the repairs and making it right, I just, you know, just want a dock back. I don't want like a brand new dock, you know, I want a new dock just like that. It's like, I just wanted a working dock back. And I mean, fixing it, if I had a barge and like maybe 5 strong guys and we wanted to take a look at it, I'm just not an expert. I've helped put in docks and I've helped take them out in spring and fall on other lakes like Lake Geneva and stuff. The guy who used to own the house too, he said it was a leaving dock. He's never taken it out. He fixed it up and put the slab and welded it to shore. It's designed to stay in. And I have seen ice shove damage on Winnebago pretty much my entire life. And I know like shove is on land, pulling off of land is what this. So it's like, it is what it is, and if the buoys got wrapped around it, and if it's happened before in the past, like maybe I can help because I live right there and I look at where the buoys are, especially after the
I
drag
mean, they had been
races.
floating around on the lake for 5 days prior, and, you know, we're new to the area, I
Sure.
honestly had even mentioned to him, you know, should probably call somebody, cause these buoys are just
Yeah.
floating around the lake and then
And
come
it
home
is,
and.
yeah, it is what it is, but it's like if there wasn't a way to like help facilitate that process before, and if there's any goodwill towards getting the repairs and stuff, we'd be more than willing to help with, you know, the buoys, checking on things. Now that we're here, we're not only here for the dock, we're looking at getting involved because we've never had waterfront property. I mean, this is my first home, her second. We're just kind of excited to move somewhere like this because, I mean, this is where we chose to start a family. And we just want to be involved with the lake, everything. And I just think, this, coming to this meeting and stuff to get the dock resolved, that's a bonus on top of, we were gonna try to be involved as much as we can anyway. The dock and how it goes about and everything, these were just the steps we took to have a dock expert come out and kinda bounce ideas on us, like what, you know, if you had to guess what happened, what do you think happened? And this is our story, and that's all we're coming from. We're not trying to make anyone pay any money. If there's a way to fix it without spending money, I'll help with labor, I'll do whatever it takes. I just don't have the resources, especially right now with what we've been kinda going through. We just don't have the money to come up with $1,900 to fix the dock on our own. And it's like, and if there is another guy who can do it for cheaper and fix the welds or do the shore weld or anything, the only thing that Mark said that he thought that the replacement thing might be dicey is he's like, that's what I'll quote it. And I think maybe because it's higher than he said the original time we talked to me, he didn't say 1,900, he told me like $1,000 to start and then labor after that. So if that's a hard quote and that's what it is, then I mean, it is what it is and I'll help with it, but I just, if there's somebody else too, if you guys wanna get us, people you work with that you think maybe wanna check his estimate or something, I'm all about working together. I just went to this guy because of,
Actually, David's the one who told us to go to him.
okay, yeah, it was prior, it was a word of mouth thing.
Well, they're probably about the only dock people.
We
in the
use them
area.
all the time.
Okay.
They're our go-to people as well, so,
Okay.
whatever you guys wanna do. The village doesn't really have a lot to say about it. We're just trying to help you communicate with them.
Yeah, okay.
It's not that we didn't care, it's just that there wasn't a lot we could do about it, because
I understand.
you know how it is, we can look at the pictures all we want, but we don't know what we're really looking at.
Exactly, exactly.
But-
And I didn't want it to be like, let's look at evidence and do this. It's like, well, I mean, if anyone wanted to see what it looked like, we have pictures of that. But I mean, until it becomes like CSI, let's go to the court, let's do whatever, I'm not even, that's not even in my, it's not in my wheel, that's not where I'm coming from.
Well, the only thing is that they, at least the day I went and got them, they weren't tangled into any of the docks. They were up against them, but they weren't actually tangled, because
Right,
pulled
they'd
them out with
actually
the boat,
washed
there was
for others
nothing.
who were neighbors by the time, I mean, that was
Yeah.
4 days later.
It was really windy, for like that stretch of time. There was like a southeast wind that blew them all the way to the northeast, and then it was like a northeast wind for like 4 days that blew it that way. And it's like 20 buoys tied together. I just know that they're,
With ice connected to it.
well,
Well,
whatever, yeah.
That's why I think it was a combination of the two that actually
Yeah.
did, because last year, your neighbor down, just around the corner, well, next to Peg over there, that it was actually wrapped in among his dock and did no damage, that, because it took me a half hour, 45 minutes to just untangle it from his dock to get him out. So,
Yeah, I think it was a
That's why I think it was
combination
a
of the ice
combination of the
draining
two.
with it that.
Yeah. 20
With the
buoys tied
wind.
together, that's just a lot of force. And
It was a cold winter, you know, it was a long, cold winter, and we had a lot of ice, so.
hmm. Yeah, because normally, the buoys themselves don't, if there's no ice with the buoys and they just float around, they normally don't damage a dock. You know, because I've seen it, well, last year was untangling the one, I've seen it other times where they've been up next to docks like yours, but there wasn't any ice and there was no damage and, you know,
Well, we should probably have a discussion about if there's any way we can prevent this from happening
I was gonna say, you know,
in the
we're happy
future,
to
but maybe we gotta
give
deal
me a
with this
number to
first.
call, and as soon as they start floating, I'll call you.
We don't know the ins and outs of the physical protocol to like fix buoys, put
We
buoys
can't
or
really get
anything.
out there and get them until the ice is gone.
right. What do you want, Charlie?
The solution to that would be just going out there when ice is still good, towards the end of fishing season, cut the ropes right off. Cause the rope is what got tangled in the dock and what actually smashed the dock, cause there was some big waves around that time. I say if you cut the ropes off the buoys, nobody's gonna be out there later ice.
What if you tied the, had the rope coming from that rope and had it tied to shore, that way when it does
anchor it
melt,
ashore somewhere too,
So you
but
can pull it in.
you know,
That-
or
I
it
mean,
won't go anywhere,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm all about helping it prevent in the future. It's like, you know, I hate to like say, well, somebody's gotta do it and then not have a solution. Like, well, if you want someone to do it, you either step up and do it. It's like, okay, I would. I'd be willing to either, you know, if there's community service hours involved to help put in the cost, helping to split the difference or anything. I don't have the cash now, and I just wanna help the lake, and I would, you know, if the lake helps me, then I'm willing to put in a lot more effort than just sitting back and
I think he
Well,
wants to
there's
be
some
on,
way to get them up to
he wants to be on the board, I hear. I'd like this.
Yeah.
Well, to be
No, I
honest,
don't.
before this happened, you know, we've been taking our canoe out on the lake and like, you know, we could probably find some ways to like help clean the lake up and, you know, help with,
Yeah, last fall, when
Everything
we were
else, you
going
know,
into the winter,
like
I
to
think,
be
and
active.
we were excited, like, wow, like last summer, I mean, we just got married in September, and like, it was a neck breaker summer. And like, when we finally started talking, it was like, we do wanna help, like, I mean, we wanna put in roots. And I kinda went to school for I started going to school for natural resources and kinda stopped when the Depression or the Great Recession went in and stuff. They weren't really taking too many people doing like erosion control and wastewater management and stuff like that, logging. So I just kinda got out of it, and I do integration now, but I live and breathe the outdoors, and I'll help any way I can.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Thank
Yeah,
you.
actually, this year was a little different than most years, cause the landing was actually clear of ice before a lot of the others, and then normally that's the last part that's why it's hard to actually get a boat out there to go get them.
right. Well, I mean, you know, we actually could have taken our canoe out because it was open water near us, you know, and grabbed the buoys ourselves. I mean,
And you know, I mean, I kinda think sometimes like I should hop in and help, but then it's like you got some Yahoo out there rounding up your buoys and everything, and then it's just like, hey man, where's the buoys? Like, oh, they're in my garage, you know, like they're just hanging out. Like, not that I'm trying to have an excuse for being lazy or something, I'm just, don't know the rules. And that's why we're here tonight, is to figure the rules out.
Well, if there was a way to get them up to shore before, I can get out there with a boat to get them, or, you know, like last year, they was actually up on shore and, like I said, wrapped around your neighbor's dock there. So I could walk out and get them, pull them up. A little harder having to carry them across his lawn, but
yeah, that's awesome.
it was nicer backing the trailer right up to the water and just throwing them in.
Yeah, I mean,
And I don't know if the
help.
buoys have to
Try
be even
it.
taken out, if they could be permanent, if they could just be cabled to the bottom. I don't, it sounds like just work and more expense, but it's like, or if they just don't do
And
it, but,
usually the ice itself rips stuff out.
yeah. You can't gauge.
Back, about 30 years ago, our aerators used to be above water aerators, and they were on a post. And every year we had to have a diver come in and cut it off and put in a new post, because the ice would just
Yeah.
take them down.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that, you know, anchoring them would be
Yeah.
a good solution, because the ice will probably wreck something else underneath the water, because the ice would move them and maybe wreck the aerators themselves, or the lines going out to them, or, which would be more expensive, because we just put in, well, just shy of 3,000 and putting out fixing the ones that are there and also putting them together in one area.
The main, yeah, we can't forget the main reason they're there, and that's for safety. Um,
Yeah, because the snowmobilers run across there if it's not there.
Right, well, yeah, I can imagine, I mean,
In fact, one year we had,
until you get right there, you can't.
the one
tell
year
what's
we were
going
out there putting the fence up when the snowmobile club was digging a snowmobile out of the water. Because the snowmobile didn't make it all the way across.
on. But yeah, I mean,
So
we're
you-
happy to help. I walk out in my backyard every day to let my dog out, so I know when they're starting to float and, you know, we have your number now.
Yeah.
So we can call you.
Yeah, you can let me know, and if there's some way you can get them up the shore, that'd be good.
Or at least a phone call that you know, like, hey, I have an opportunity or something, you know.
Right.
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out, I think, once it's colder.
So we wanna put this as a up to amount, and then if we can get it for less.
Okay, so we have a motion to pay Schmidt.
Well,
Oh.
nobody's actually made the motion yet, I don't think.
Jeez, you
Can I
make
make
it?
it?
You can make it the motion.
I would like to make a motion to, pay Schmidt, what is it? Boat dock repair?
Boat Lift and Docks, Inc.
Boat Lift and Docks, Inc. Up to $1,948 to repair the dock at Two
And
Twelve
then
Lakeshore Dock.
And if we get it cheaper, then
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
we'll do that.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You'll get your dock repaired.
And then maybe there could be a game plan to involve them for
Right.
preventive
Yeah, we can-
purposes. I
we
mean,
can
when
talk
you're
more on
willing
that.
to help, I
Yeah,
love hearing
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
that. Be involved in
Try
any
to
way.
fill the canoe with as much trash as I can when I can, but I mean, I will do more than that too.
Next year, Al, we could just, where the buoys are, I got the big tree in my backyard right on the shoreline, just tie a chain to it or rope to it, and so the buoys don't float off. They come back to my yard and just pull them in.
Yeah,
That's fine with me.
yes, just if we can get some way to get them so they're not floating around, would be great. I know there was one year, they were stuck up on the far shoreline and had to go up there and get them, and that's not easy, 'cause that's shallow up there. Okay, next on here is the grant. We did receive the grant for the harvester for 35,000 plus change. It was a little over. We had discussed about the possibility of using it for a shed that the village, or a building the village would put up, and we would put in that 35,000 to,
It's basically a cold storage garage. Half will be the Lake District and half will be the village. We figure rough estimates are about 75 grand just to get it sealed up, floor, walls, roof. It'll be good for everybody all the way around. Then you can bring your stuff over from Red and Dave's storage, and we can keep that machine out of the sun. One of the big things that old machine faced was dry rot from the sun UV rays all the time on the equipment. So since you spend a lot of money on the current equipment, it would be nice to get that out of the weather.
especially.
And that was, I wouldn't say that was the reason we helped with the grant, but it was certainly one of the motivating factors. When I say we, I mean David. David helped write it, and thought maybe if we could get it, then we could get some kind of building to keep that harvester indoors. So
Yeah, it'd be nice to be indoors during the winter.
I think what David's looking for is some reassurance from the Lake District that you're still committed to allocating that grant money towards the construction of a storage building
And where would it be located?
down at the wastewater plant.
Okay.
What is the total cost of that shed?
We figured about 75,000. Just, yeah. For now, that's just getting it up. There, of course, the village is probably gonna spend more money over the years insulating the other side and putting in electrical and lights and all that good stuff. But now, just to get the basic structure up, probably about 75 grand.
And what Chris had told me, he figured that the Lake District side would be enough that we could take the stuff out of our storage unit and move up there, which would save us about $500 a year, roughly. Isn't that about what it costs us for the storage unit, roughly about 500?
Yeah, we're actually looking at 40 by 80, so the Lake District would get 40 by 40, which is huge. So it's probably so big that we probably keep street equipment and stuff in there.
No,
No, not on my side. But yeah, Chris said you might as well go 40 by 80 instead of 40 by 60 if you're already building it. Just
No, that makes more sense to put the extra 20 on right now,
yeah.
because the extra cost, it wouldn't be that.
No,
that
it's just a
much.
couple more rafters, to be honest, so a little bit more concrete. So, I think what Dave is looking for is we're in the middle of doing an audit of village finances, and we're gonna know in the next month or so if we're ready to move forward. It's something we'd wanna do before fall, is start work on that building if we can. So,
So you're not totally sure yet that you're gonna do it?
oh, we're 99.9% sure.
Okay.
I gotta be 100% sure before I go to the board, so.
So we would need a motion to actually put the money towards a storage unit.
I'll move to put the 35,000 that we received in the grant towards the storage building.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. So you have your treasurer's report, you should go back to it.
As of February 12th, 2019, we had a checkbook balance of $7,954.63. That was our checking account. We didn't have any income. We had $625 expense out of the checkbook, which left us a balance of $7,329.63. As of February 12th, 2019, in our money market, we had a balance of $174,498.20. And we had income of $14,975. We had expenses of $13,442.41, and that left us a checkbook balance of $180,714.35.
Did we get the first check from the grant yet?
I got a check today for $308 from the state of Wisconsin,
For 308?
for $308.
So we were supposed to get a check for about 17, about half of it.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I thought, let David know, because he said they had told him it was supposed to be coming.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get it in two halves, 17, 17, or 17, 18, whatever it is.
That's the only one I got from the state of Wisconsin.
I'll make the motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Now we'll go back to new business. The harvester, our new harvester will be coming in right after Memorial Day, the conveyor will be coming down to the treatment plant on the 28th. Be delivered there. The harvester, they said they'll be coming on the 28th and spend the night probably in New London. And on the morning of the 29th, there'll be training on the new harvester. So it should be in the water on the 29th. So it's going to be here, up and running. I know there's a couple of things that I want Chris to do, that put in the depth finder, and we'll have to see about the umbrella and all of that, but we should be able to be ready to go in June. And I have 2 volunteers for sure, possibly a third, so. As for the annual meeting, we're going to need to move that up 1 week. Normally it's the last Monday in August, but I will be gone that week, so we'll move it up to the second to last week of August for the annual meeting.
So Monday the 19th, is that what?
Whatever the week, will it be the third Monday then, or
Mhm.
is there 4 Mondays that month?
There are. Mhm.
It'll be the third Monday. And with that, we will need a meeting in July to go over budget. So we can get all of that set up for the annual meeting. I figured a third Wednesday in July for a meeting.
Mm-hmm. 17th?
Yeah. I didn't look at the calendar, so I couldn't
That's
tell
the-
you for sure.
That's the third Wednesday.
And I'll have to get with Nathan to make sure we can get the room on those days. Do we have any other topics for future meetings?
I just wondered about, they were so generous to offer to help, and I know that there were only 2 people that showed up to clean the lake. And I think of the activities that are coming up, it'd be nice to really get that done. I talked with one of the women down at Alley Cat Coffee Shop, and they had just put it out there that people could go out and collect garbage around, and if they bring a bag of garbage, they get a free drink. And I thought maybe that might be a way to promote it. Maybe we could get both coffee shops or businesses to say, okay, what can we do to beautify the community? Because I know just, especially with the festivities coming up, it's nice to have that area cleaned up. So just thought I'd say that they're willing. I mentioned the lake, and they said they'd be willing to do it again.
I just had a quick question. One, you said the festivities coming up. What festivities were you?
There's a homecoming coming up
Okay.
the last weekend in May, I believe,
Okay,
31st and then the 1st of June.
okay. And were there any particular areas in general that you would like concentrated on? So that if we were doing our little cleanup, or we were on walks, or we had friends with, or anything like that, was there spots maybe that you'd like us to start at, and then maybe work our way like down a list? If we're just doing it on our own little path, it might not be helpful. Mostly I go where there are no people, so I mean, it might not be helpful if I'm picking trash. I mean, it's always helpful, but if I was concentrating maybe in an area, homecoming, do they use the park on the main road? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's up in that area where usually it's the worst, and Mark Voigt, who does the cleanup, actually walked around just the shoreline of Black Otter Park and Alonzo Park and picked up 2 bags of garbage that day.
Yeah, and I bet with the wind, it probably just, everything goes.
But that's usually the worst part that, well, you got the water drains in from Quick Trip in there, so when something gets into on their parking lot and into their
From the school's parking lot.
sedimentation basin there, well, that ends up going in the lake, usually. But up in that area, in between the 2 parks and then up around, let's see, where are we? Be up this way, around the park.
Okay.
That's usually where the worst parts are. And sometimes along the north, because that's real shallow, so stuff gets caught up in there.
And getting, the coffee shop involved or anything. I used to manage a restaurant in Menasha, and we orchestrated an Earth Day And everybody that came in, you know, kids got a free soda, adults got a free beer, and then they got like 20% off their meal or something, you know? But never hurts to give an added incentive to get people out.
Right. And it could, that makes it more fun too.
Yeah,
More
exactly.
people are involved.
And they're socializing
Yeah.
with the place.
I think they said they got 50 bags of garbage, and I don't know how many people, but they were pretty excited about, they got a group from the high school involved, I think DECA kids, and then some other kids were involved.
Yeah, you know,
Well-
even talking to the school and see if they get some kind of a credit for
Mhm.
community cleanup or
Yep.
something.
Greg Hall, who's with the Fox West
Academy.
Academy there, was going to get his kids out before the end of school and get out there.
Mhm.
He was going to have them there that Saturday, but he had to go to Texas on a family thing, so
Okay,
he didn't get there with his kids. But
yeah.
So the coffee shop do this like on one specific day, or
They just did it last Saturday, they just put the word out
Cool.
to do that, and it was a beautiful day, you know, but besides that, I think that was pretty impressive that people
Yeah.
rallied and did that,
Yeah.
you know?
That was a kind of a nasty day, the day of,
Yes.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
cold, and it
Mm.
wasn't real windy, but it was cold, and I think that's one of the things with the April one that we have trouble with. It's not always too warm.
That was.
But he does have, he has one the third Saturday in October also.
Kind of nice to do one like in now or June too, so it's ready for the summer. But maybe if we just spread the word,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
bet, you
everybody
bet.
on their own.
We're on it as soon as we walk out the door.
Yeah.
And then we've got some lake residents here. I think Matt said that he was coming out like the 27th of this month to do the plant survey out there. So if you see somebody out there digging up plants and looking at them, that's what they're doing. They're surveying,
Excellent.
doing a point survey of all the plants out on the lake.
Yeah, that's nice, that's cool. I did read about that, I think in, yeah.
But I'd asked Matt when he was going to do it, so we didn't interfere with the harvester, and he said he was planning on it about the 27th, coming out.
have you heard anything on Dash yet?
No, but I asked Matt to let Al know what he found and what areas he thought would be best for the
Okay.
Dash people to hit. That, you know, it may take him longer to get us a report, but he can tell them earlier as to, you know, okay, these are the areas that would be best suited,
And the most invasive, yeah.
where we can get the most bang for our buck.
Do you know what they're talking about when they say dash?
It's a diver-assisted suction harvesting. They come out with a pontoon boat, and a diver goes down with a hose, pulls out the invasive species and shoves it into the hose that goes up on there, and they take them out. They've been,
This will be our third year, right?
this will be the third year. And,
And they do it once a year?
pardon?
Once a year do they do it?
Yeah. They actually did it twice the last 2 years, but last year was only supposed to be once, but where we had asked them to go, there was too many native plants mixed in with that, so it was taking more time to try and find the invasives around the natives than what they're doing, so they pulled out and said it was a waste of time and money. Our time, or their time and our money for them to do it. Well, that's when I had Matt come in and have his people say, is there a concentration somewhere where, and then the Dash people came back and worked on those areas. And that's why I asked Matt to let Al know this year what areas would be best to hit. With this point survey, we'll also get an idea if this is actually working. Because they're actually getting quite a bit out. For the invasives they're getting out, I think we're getting our money's worth out of it. I don't know how much they charged us last year, for last year's, I know what came this year.
This year was 8,000. Last year, I'm not sure.
About 8,000? Yeah, and we'd put down for 20, but because of them pulling out and then coming back, they didn't get, well, because of their schedule, they didn't get as much done out here as we had planned on. But how quickly they get here will depend on how quickly Matt can tell them where to go, what areas they hit.
It's really nice to see some people here who we don't usually see.
Yeah, most of the time Bob's the only one that shows up.
Yeah.
Was it last year we talked about having something special at the annual meeting? I know I wasn't able to be there, but maybe have it down at the lake, or do we need to have it real formal?
Well, it really doesn't make any difference where we hold it. They usually get about the same amount of people.
Okay.
If we get a half a dozen, we're doing good.
What if we do like some kind of little fishing tournament for the annual meeting, like down at the boat landing or down at Alonzo or something, draw more people?
But then you might be drawing people that aren't part of the district.
Okay.
I don't know if we really want anybody outside the district telling, saying what we should do, because the people that live here and are paying for it out of their taxes, should be the ones that saying what we would want done.
I remember one year we had it at Alonzo Park and had a cookout.
Mhm.
And there was a pretty good turnout, but I think it was because they were raffling off, was it a raffle or a door
Yeah.
prize? They had like a boat.
Yeah,
It looked like a lot of work.
Bill had a couple years in a row raffled off some kayaks.
Yeah,
I think that's how we got
all those people.
up to where we're at on the checkbook. That could maybe something we look at in the future, but
I can help with the cookout end of it. I'm the catering manager. So, there you go.
It just might generate some interest, get some people down there. It seems like what's coming up is people really want us to focus on the lake or make that even better. We heard that from the people, that were candidates for the board too. Everybody says we should be proud of the lake and do what we can, to make it a focal point. And so maybe if we had something, it could be something simple.
Or even just
I'll help you.
fundraiser or, yeah. You
I'm
can
really
kind of-
good at opening buns. And I grill too.
Yeah.
But it might be just kind of something worth trying. We could raffle a kayak or something. They're
it'll
pretty
be,
cheap right now.
it's a little late to do it this year. Because you have to get a raffle permit.
Yep, you do.
And then
Well, we could just
put
have
it
it
out.
fun.
And 3 months to advertise too.
Mhm.
Help
Yeah, you
have a
definitely
little
want
bit.
to advertise.
We could have just something fun,
Yeah, I
just
was
a
gonna say,
gathering.
Bill even spent time at Quick Trip selling raffle tickets, just sitting
Mhm.
outside there selling
Yeah,
them.
I remember that. Maybe just a neighborhood gathering would be nice.
We could try it if the board wants to.
I'm not opposed.
Well, if I can, I'll be glad to help.
So
I'd
you
be
think,
glad to help.
Okay, we've got volunteers in the
I work on
crowd.
events all the time, so it's a
I'll get
cakewalk
your
for me.
phone, I'll get your names and phone numbers.
Okay.
At least make a motion maybe to think about Whatever.
Are you
Make a motion to
thinking
make a motion.
on the day of the annual meeting? Or,
I guess I'm wondering how formal the annual meeting is. Like I said, I wasn't here, I've only been on the
Well,
committee for less than a year, so.
Pretty much like a regular meeting,
you just have to approve the budget, right? That's the
And-
biggest business.
and the
Oh, and
other,
the officers.
yeah, we
Yeah,
have to
that's
elect
how I
off-
got
we have to
here,
elect
was
officers.
from the,
Which
from
is-
that night.
It's my turn.
Full circle.
8 beers later, she's on committee. So.
Yeah, it's my turn this year, so.
Oh, no.
Well, is there a speaker system we could use down at Alonso?
Yeah, we could drag that, I suppose.
I can help with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
He works for a sound production
I
company.
do, I'm a live audio engineer.
Okay, got that covered.
You guys are just like
Uh,
a big
well,
party over there.
Like we
We
said,
got
you
the
know,
sound, we got the
We have
food.
the ability to, help. We do wanna get involved in the community, We're still new, so we're
I'm,
learning.
our former roommate is the logistics manager for Mile Music,
wow.
music festival in Appleton. He's my best friend. He's like the Aaron Rodgers of audio engineers. So I mean, between us, he's the lead engineer downtown at Gibson Music Hall, Appleton. There's I guess, if we ever wanted to advertise, or if you ever wanted to get something out where we needed to advertise there, we're very new to the area, so we don't really have a whole lot of.
We don't know a lot of people here yet.
Yeah, but we can make up for it not having networking in this area. I can help it any other way. I've definitely a speaker system. I can definitely provide audio for 2,000 people. But I don't know if you ever need that. I also do know a local, Carrie Powell. She's a real estate agent from Hornville. Her daughter Grace is in a band called Twisted Chords.
Yep.
They both go to the high school. Yeah. I do sound for them, I guess you'd say, but like I do rehearsals with them, and we've sold them equipment, and I'm a couple of shows that they have coming up throughout the summer. I'm gonna be like popping in and out there. So maybe if, or I don't know how to link that in, but they're a local band, they would be able to play. I know you
We'll
have
have a
a
little
party
music in the
somewhere in
park.
Alonzo, I think, right? Like there's a tent with
Homecoming.
bands and everything. I don't
Yeah,
know.
That's the homecoming, I know they're
Oh,
planning,
okay.
they're planning a band for that, a couple
Okay.
bands.
That's probably already handled and everything, but if you needed something for the annual or anything like that, I can help. Any sort of PA address system, or even just things around here, if you have things that need to be hooked up or done inside here, that can happen too. I don't know how that helps the planning party, but whatever.
It's
We'll
good to
figure
know.
something out, yeah.
So is that something we wanna try this year as at Alonzo and see if we
Sure.
get more people there and
Do we have a budget for food or how?
well, it'd be in our miscellaneous, but part of the budget.
Okay.
It's not like we're short of cash.
Okay.
So we can do that,
So we would have to reserve the pavilion then.
Do you want me to do that?
if you want to, otherwise I will.
If you want to go ahead and then maybe, should we talk about a menu?
Yeah, absolutely.
That will help.
Gosh, I
We could do
bet
just
you
something,
have one
something simple.
Just
you know.
simple
Real-
brown burger,
Yep,
hot dogs. kind
She
of
works
stuff,
for
you
Cedar
know?
Creek Meat Market. I'm not sure if you're
No,
familiar.
yep,
It's
yep.
on Northland, right off 441. So their forte is the Friday burger and broad fry thing right out there. So that's the number one that they have. But they do everything. We had a taco bar at our wedding.
It was pretty fun. Pig roast, all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, brats, burgers, hot dogs are pretty cheap,
Yeah.
and really, I mean, you could essentially pay for the cost of food and sell it for a higher price and use it as a fundraiser, you know, to collect some money from people too. But
Not sure the legalities of that stuff yet, but I'm sure you guys do.
yeah,
Okay,
we're
well-
open to it, and we can leave our information and come back to meetings.
Definitely give you numbers really quick.
Okay, great.
Yeah, how do you plan for something like that as far as quantity?
Yeah, that's the hard part. The
Information.
easy part for us
Could
is
just be
we can
us.
grill on site.
Right, I
you know.
just plan for who you think, and if everybody wants to bring a friend, then if it,
Well,
as big as you
Serve
think
until
you
you run
want it,
out and next
mean,
year.
that's-
we'll
maybe a
come
number
somewhere.
will help. Maybe once you
Yeah.
see a number for 100 people, you can extrapolate it and figure if it's worth it or not.
that's the thing, most of our meetings, that's why I said, if we get a half a dozen, we're doing really good.
Right.
A little bit of leeway, maybe we can get, you know, at least
Yeah,
have some-
Yeah.
we'll be there. You can count on
Well, like I said, for our normal meetings, Bob's about the only one that shows up.
looks like you could handle a party.
And for you guys, so you know, Meg is our secretary,
Okay.
Warren's the treasurer, I'm the chairman, Pat is village representative. Our county representative didn't make it tonight.
My name's Cole, officially. This is my wife, Becky. Sorry, I'm very bad at introductions. I should have said it right away.
Well, maybe you could have free broths, just trying to get people interested in the
Well,
lake.
that's what I was
Yes,
thinking.
I'm thinking
I think so.
And
Maybe
we-
just do 100 or something.
Yeah.
If they want to make a
Exactly.
donation for
The
something.
people who care gets fed.
Yeah.
If you're too late, you
You're
don't care.
become a, yeah.
We don't want you there.
we can,
That's kind of what I was
Just
thinking.
just cook brats and invite people, free brats to attend the
Mhm,
annual Lake District meeting. You know, maybe we'll get a few more people.
mhm.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know what this is.
Yeah, we didn't. We had no idea.
Right,
until-
I had, I
Well-
started following the Facebook page and that's when I even learned about the Lake District and we were gonna go to the first meeting, the first one that we had saw and then neither of us got out of work, so we didn't make it, but, ultimately, unless you're really digging and searching, you don't really see a whole lot about it, so. But I'm good with marketing aspects of things too and putting stuff out on Facebook and doing that, so that's helpful.
you know, that's the thing, we actually dropped our webpage because it was too, our past chairman had set it up and trying to get it switched over to somebody else was such a pain, we just dropped it and we never started one back up because none of us know how to do it.
I can help with that.
Well, might as well just use Facebook.
Yeah, that's all we've been using.
Yeah, and
is that
honestly, most
Facebook.
people use Facebook nowadays, they really do, and as long as you have some presence somewhere, that's good, but yeah, I think there's
But
only like
I know
100
I've
followers.
Heard from a few people that said, well, I saw your webpage, oh, that webpage has been down since 2011.
So it's a little out of date.
So, you know, that, we even dropped it, it's still out there, I mean, if you look for it, it's still there, but I don't know, it's like $250 a year that they're paying for it, and we just stopped paying for it.
Yeah, if it's not active, it's not really worth it.
Yeah,
But I'd say a lot of people use Facebook nowadays too. I mean, he doesn't, but
yeah.
I have an account, but he, even for someone like him who doesn't have a page, he can still look
Well,
on.
I never had a Facebook page until I had to start it up to be,
To be, yeah,
On that one.
administrator of that, yep. That's primarily why I'm on too for my job. But, yeah,
so I get some of this stuff on mine, but I only look at it about maybe once a month.
yeah.
My nieces and that don't care for that I don't look for it, but. Now I'll have to get some advertising out for that too,
So should, a couple of us work on things prior to the July meeting, do you think? And then bring ideas to that?
probably.
Or
And I don't know
is
how
that enough?
involved in the community, maybe like the hardware store would have flyers that they could hand out at their counter to people, or
Mhm.
Donaldson's coffee
Grocery
shop, or,
store, the coffee shop,
Yeah.
yeah.
at least check and see if they're willing to put it on their bulletin board or something.
We can ask them.
Yeah, most of them are willing to put it on their bulletin board. They got like Quick Trip's bulletin board that was stuck
Way in
way
the
back
back.
in
Yeah,
where nobody gets to see it.
July meeting.
Well, I could try setting up a poster and bring it in for people to approve. That would probably be time enough at the July meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can send you what I have for Arbor Day. You can just tailor it. Doesn't have to be too fancy.
Okay.
And you can just have an agenda item in July for discussing the annual board meeting again.
Could I get in touch with you maybe on food prices or
Yeah,
things like
absolutely.
that, or
We were just
do you
gonna
want me
ask
to
if
do
there's
that
somewhere
ahead
you'd
of the
like us
July
to
meeting?
go to, and,
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I can give you my card before
Okay.
I leave here. and
okay, great,
We'll put
so I
together a
can
meeting.
come with food info. Gilbert's is pretty good about this, buns, you know, we can get buns there too, and pretty much anything. Okay, that'll be fun.
Any other topics to discuss? Hearing none, we're open for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Opposed? We are adjourned.